Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to introduce you to 365 Container Import by Western Computer, a powerful real-time container tracking tool fully integrated with Dynamics 365 Business Central. Whether you're importing or transporting goods via containers, our app streamlines the entire process by consolidating, tracking, and managing your purchase orders, inventory, and containers every step of the way. 365 Container Import allows you to consolidate items from multiple purchase orders into a single aggregated container. This simplifies the receiving and management process, making it easier for your team to handle large volumes of inventory efficiently. You can receive FOB items into a transition location, transferring inventory ownership while the goods are still in port or even on the water. This ensures that your inventory records are always accurate and up to date. For greater flexibility, our app allows you to delay the creation of a transfer order and ship items directly to the customer from the in-transit container location, streamlining drop shipments. You can apply item charges based on volume, quantity, weight, and more while goods are in transit. This allows you to determine accurate landed cost by item, giving you a clear picture of your expenses. During transfer receipt, 365 Container Import lets you reassign lot numbers, providing added precision and control over your inventory management. You can track and analyze detailed status of your containers across various shipping vessels. Additionally, our app monitors the capacity of your containers, providing running totals of load and remaining available space, helping you maximize shipping efficiency. You can assign a final destination to transfer order lines, and the transfer receipt posting will automatically create a transfer order from the receiving location to the final destination location. This feature simplifies complex logistics scenarios. 365 Container Import passes data deeper into your ledgers, including the item ledger, value entry, GL entry, and reservation entry tables. It also adds ledger links to the transport order and transport lines to navigate functions enhancing data traceability. Our Container Role Center empowers your logistics team to view and manage the container process queues and actions for all types of documents, centralizing control and streamlining operations. Finally, 365 Container Import supports both domestic and international container imports, offering a single solution for all of your container tracking needs. Now let me show you how some of these key features work within Dynamics 365 Business Central.
First, let's consolidate items from multiple purchase orders into a single container. Let's begin by creating a standard purchase order to see how some of this has changed with the addition of 365 Container Import software. So I'm going to head and create a brand new purchase order, and we will create this using a standard vendor from this Cronus database. And I'm going to fill in some of the key features that we need here. So first, we need to make sure that we're shipping this to a location of our choosing. So I'm going to choose to send this as my final destination being our main warehouse. And then, of course, what we need to do is choose the port of origin for this order. So within the system here, we've configured 2 ports of origin, China and France. You can configure as many ports of origin as you like. There could be multiple Chinese ports, for example, or there could be a port out of Greece. You create the ports you want. But for this example, I'm going to choose China. And then moving forward, we can, of course, choose to when we want to receive these goods. So let's say we want to receive this by Halloween. And otherwise, we are good to go from the header. You can fill in anything else that you would normally fill in your business, but this is sort of a minimum we need at this point. Moving on to the lines details, I'm going to select an item to purchase, and let's make it this item 1906-S, the Athens Mobile Pedestal. And let's say we want to receive 5 of these. Notice we are saying that we want to receive them ultimately in the main location, but they are going to be transiting through our port of origin, which is China. So now that we have this order made, now, of course, I could add as many items I want to this order, but now that I've got this done, I'm going to go ahead and release this order so that we can work on it. So, of course, this is where you would send your order over to your vendor so they would accept the order, confirm the order, whatnot, tell you maybe, hey, we're going to be shipping this out to you on a certain date. Once you know how you're going to be receiving this and potentially other orders at the same time, we're going to go to the inbound container transport menu, which we've added, and create a transport order. The transport order represents the actual document where you create the container manifest and order and loading. And this is what you're going to be tracking along the way. So here I'm going to assign a brand new number to this series. And again, Note there's a lot of fields that can be filled out here. Many of them are optional and depend on what you're using in your business for what you're trying to do. But we're going to fill in some of the basic information that we need. So first, we need to choose what kind of container this is. I'm choosing to do a 40-foot dry container for this example. But of course, you could create any number of different container types that are necessary for your business. Of course, I need to give it a container ID. This typically comes from your shipping company. So let's put in something fictitious here that will serve the purpose of having an ID. We also need to choose where the container will be leaving from. So this is where I choose my port of origin, which is China. And finally, I need to set a destination, which is my location, Maine. Now, ultimately, before I am able to post this, I will have to put in one other piece of information, which is the shipping date. And just to save ourselves some time later, I'm going to go in here and say, we know this container is supposed to ship on the 27th of September. So far, so good. We've got our container basically set up so we can do the next thing, which is loading the container. So I'm going to hit the Get Purchase Lines button here, which opens up this particular menu where I can see all of the purchase order lines that have an origin of China and a final destination of Maine. Anything that's not in those two destinations will be ignored for this particular loading issue. And notice here, this has got a number of documents that are open and pending. And of course, amongst those, you've got the order that I just created down here, the 106-110, for these Athens mobile pedestals. So let's go ahead and slide over and start loading our container. So I'm going to say I want to assign this line to the container. And of course, as I do that, it's adding to my payload and cubage so that I can see how I am with respect to my maximums for the particular order. And I can do that adding multiple different documents as I go along, noticing that eventually I might go over and so on and so forth. So I'm going to just eliminate these for now for the purpose of the example. And let's say further that the line that I've just added here, let's say my vendor has told me, hey, I can ship you, the 5 from your first order and 4 from the second order on this container. The other ones I'll have to ship later. And so you agree to that and decide, okay, so I'm going to only load 4 units here, which means that I have to split out 1 unit that'll be shipped at a later date. So you just do that here with a quick edit. And once you're happy with how your container has been loaded, let's go ahead and create the transport lines. And notice when I've done that now, it's created the lines on my transport order to reflect what it is I'm loaded. So notice there's 5 of the units that come from purchase order 106-109, and there's another 4 units that come from purchase 106-110. So let's go see what happens there for that particular deal. So I'm going to click here on this document number to open the purchase order. And we see here now that what it's done is it's split the line automatically, putting 4 units on one line and 1 unit on the other. And if we slide across, we can see that the first line is actually loaded as part of transport order ICO 10089 with container ID right here. So you can see looking at the PO that the item has been loaded or not. And so we've basically created an order for transporting these goods that includes goods from multiple different purchase orders. Next, we'll post the transport order to receive the goods. This action will automatically create the transport order that ships the goods towards the final destination. Let me show you how that works. So you can see now that the order that we've just created, this transport order, is in planning status. Normally, once we're done planning, we will release it until we have more information pending. So this status here now tells us that our transport order has been built, the goods are loaded, are set to be loaded in here, and we have everything that we need to anticipating that the order will ship on the day that it's due to ship. Now, let's say we come along to the 27th and we're ready to ship the goods. Obviously, this is where we might fill in any missing information. For example, we might have a seal number that we want to add for the container, or there might be a special container tracking ID that you need for something. Whatever it is that you feel you need to add as information, you can do so. But again, for the purposes of this example, my next step here will be to say, we are now shipping the container out of China. And so in doing so, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the post, and we're going to post, and it's asking us if we want to post this transport order. I'm going to say yes. And so what's happening now is that the order itself is being posted. What happens is the purchase order is being received within the China location in the system. And then immediately after being received in the China location, it is creating a transfer order that will ship the goods from China to your main location. And it is then shipping the transfer order so that those goods are now on the water. So let's look at how this looks in real life. So again, let's focus on our item 106.110 here, our PO 106.110. So if I click on the 106.110, we come along here. Now we can see that this first line up top, the quantity received is 4. Means that these 4 units have been received in the system at the China location. So from a legal standpoint, you have now taken ownership of these particular items. Let's go back. The next thing that's been done, and you can see it on the side here, is this transfer order 1057 has been created. So if we click on this, we can see that the transfer order that's been created transfers the items, 5 units of the item, and then 4 units of the item, and it's transferring it from China to Maine automatically. And you'll notice as well that in the process, 5 units of the first have been changed and 4 units have been shipped. So these are shipped. And so that means now these are sitting at the in-transit location of on water. So from an inventory management standpoint, these goods have been received at your initial point of origin. So you have taken ownership of them. And then they've been loaded onto a container and shipped out and are now sitting on the water. So you've saved all those different steps in just posting the routine. All that remains now is to receive the goods when they arrive at your final destination. And that will be done here from the transfer order simply by going ahead and posting the order. Now, if this particular location that you're receiving goods into has warehouse receipts or other things established and turned on, you're going to have to use the proper process of creating a warehouse receipt or creating an inventory put away so that you can receive the goods according to that warehouse's configuration. But otherwise, what you're looking at here is basically just posting the receipt to terminate the order. And once that's done, the order is now fully processed, and you can see that the inbound container transport order is marked as complete. So far, everything we've looked at relates to shipping the container itself. Now, I'm going to show you how to apply item charges by volume, quantity, or weight while in transit to calculate accurate landed costs. Let's start by going in and creating a purchase invoice for the freight charge associated with this container. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new, and we are going to pick another vendor here. Let's use First Up Consultants. And we'll say this is our shipping company. And of course, they're going to have an invoice that they send to us. So I'm going to give it an invoice ID. And of course, here what we're looking at is this is a charge item. And we are calling this purchase freight. And we're going to say this is freight for container shipping. And let's say this container costs us $3,000 to ship. And perhaps for our jurisdictions, taxable or not taxable. For the purposes of the example, I'm going to leave this as non-taxable. Now, normally, what you would do is once you create an item charge, what you will do is you go in here and then choose the item charge assignment function. And what you would normally do is get the receipt lines so that you can apply it to the lines that, the items that you've actually received. What we've done here is we've modified this get receipt lines so that we've added transport container information to the side here that is more relevant for you to be able to find what you're looking for. Without this, you'd have to know the specific receipt numbers and everything else. Because we've set up these fields, I can now come along here, and if I know my container ID or my transport order ID, I can quickly find what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to flip these in reverse order to make things easier because I don't remember the code that I actually use, but so this particular code here is my code. So if I had come in here and done a search QIIQ, of course, I would have found these particular lines. These are the lines that actually correspond to my receiving of these particular parts of inventory. So now I can just select these 2 lines and go OK, and they get automatically returned here to my receipt. With that in place, I can now suggest item charge assignment and choose how I'm going to spread this. So let's say I want to spread this by amount, but I could do by weight, by volume. And now, of course, what it's done is it's assigned 0.444 units of the receipt to one line and 0.555 to the other line. So basically, it's spreading the cost based on the value of the items I'm receiving. And of course, now that I've done this, I can go ahead and hit close. And when I post it, this particular charge is now attributed to the item that I have received. So let's go ahead and close this and see what has happened in our item ledger entries. And looking at these receipts on the top, we see that the items received at the final location here have a cost that is here. If I drill down on the cost and look at the value entries, I can see that the first value is associated with the actual purchase of the goods at the bottom, 4 units at $338.20 per unit. And then there's an item charge of $333.33 per unit for the actual transport of the goods. So that is how you would apply a landed cost to an item using the 365 container import functionality.
As you've seen, 365 Container Import by Western Computer is a comprehensive solution that streamlines your container management process, handles advanced logistics scenarios with ease, and ensures accurate cost tracking and complete visibility from start to finish. To learn more about how 365 Container Import can benefit your business or to request a personalized demo, please visit our listing on Business Central App Store or contact us directly. Thank you for your time today. We look forward to helping you optimize your container tracking and management with 365 Container Import.